Okay, guys, everyone ready? Cool. Okay, guys, my name is Nick Salzar, and today I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about whitewater kayaking, or what I like to call it, Paddle Foo 101. So we're going to cover a couple things, and the first one is going to be up here, and it's going to be the basic anatomy of a kayak. And the second and third thing are going to be downstairs. So after this, if you would all quickly follow me downstairs so I can make my time limit, that would be awesome. So, does anyone know anything about whitewater kayaking at all? If you do, just raise your hand. Yeah? Yeah, a little bit? Just anything in general? No? Okay, some of you guys do. Okay, so this is what a general whitewater kayak looks like. And this would be the front of the boat. And so does anyone know what that's called? The bow, correct. Okay, so we're going to fill that in right there. So then does anyone know what the back of the boat is called? Stern. Right on, man. Okay, stern. So we got the bow and the stern of the boat. Okay, that's front and back. Now these things right here, does anyone know what those are? It's crudely drawn, but they're little things to hold on to. Yeah, grab loops. Oh, whoops. Okay, and then does anyone know what the part of the kayak you sit in is called?
Cockpit.
The cockpit, right. And then, does anyone know what the wrapping of the plastic around the cockpit is called? No, it's called combing.
Coping?
Combing, as in like comb your hair. Combing. Okay, so there's obviously a lot more parts to a kayak, but these are basically just your general spots. You got the bow, stern, grab loops, cockpit, combing. This would be your edge of the boat, and that's about it. So now we're going to go into what kayaks are made out of. So if everyone could quickly follow me downstairs, where we came from, we're Eskimos or Inuit people up in the Arctic. And so they traditionally made them out of wooden frames and sheepskin wrapped around it. Obviously, we don't have a kind like that here, but you can imagine it is soft. It's, it's sheepskin and fur and shit wrapped around a wooden frame. I mean, it's not that sturdy. But it worked back then, and they primarily used it for hunting. So after that, Europeans kind of gained the concept of kayaking and using it, and they kind of turned it into a sport. But instead of using furs and skins to cover the kayak, they changed it to plastic, or not to plastics, but to fabrics. And so they started making fabric boats in here, and that was all right, but it didn't really work out that great. And so right around, oh gosh, I think it was, had this written down, I think like the 50s or something, fiberglass was invented. And so that became the hot shit for making new boats out of. And that's what this is all made out of right here. So everyone can come over here and kind of just feel this. This is fiberglass, not very comfy, stiff but fragile. It holds its form, and it's useful, cheap to make. It can be handmade, anyone can do it. But it's kind of just fiberglass, And so that worked for a while, and in the US, fiberglass started picking up, and so we started making race boats, and kayaking got into the Olympics, and so it kind of became like a recognized sport, and then whitewater kayaking kind of evolved from that. And so with whitewater kayaking, it was kind of hard to run these really gnarly stretches of river in a fiberglass boat because it was so fragile. So eventually they started making boats out of plastic. Now there's a few different kinds of plastic, and all of them are really technical made, but the majority of your boats nowadays will be made out of plastic, which is this and that. There's soft plastics, which are made for creek boats that are like such, and these plastics are really tough and durable, so they take a crap load of beating, and they can do a lot more, stand up to a lot more. And then there's soft plastics that are made more for the lightweight purpose and aren't made for the durability, but instead are put into what's called a clay boat, which is what this is. And soft plastics are put in these boats right here. People use for playing around in holes and waves, surfing, doing tricks, anything like that. But the softer plastics allow you to be able to pop more in the water and way less, so the force coming out of the water due to your trick is more But that kind of, and then now we're kind of making boats out of this, like out of carbon fiber and like what's called e-glass fiber. And they're really just really small threads of fiber, polymer fibers. And they weave them together to make kind of stronger, cohesive bond. And that's what's kind of turning into the new thing for kayaking, is to make them out of these lightweight materials that aren't as strong and kind of like, they're stronger than fiber, like carbon fiber is stronger than fiberglass, but at the same time, if it like really hits a rock hard, it's gonna crack, it's gonna break. So only like the really like rich people have carbon fiber boats right now, but hopefully it's gonna start becoming more manageable to get, like more manageable as far as the money goes to maintain them. But like I was mentioning earlier, there's several different kinds of boats. Now this right here is a big boat, like I said, it's made for big water, big rivers. So if someone were to go and say like, oh, I want to go run a waterfall, they're going to get into a creek boat because it has more volume, so that volume is going to keep you up right on top of the water and float, and safer more than a play boat will. So if you're looking for big volume when you're running rivers, when you're like just playing around in water, doing tricks, having fun, stuff like that, people generally go to those play boats, which are the smaller ones, so they can do those kinds of things. Another main difference of the two kinds of play boats, well, and then there's hybrids in between. There's crossovers. I mean, creek boats kind of like river runners when they're mixed with the play boat. But what they do to mix them is, if everyone can see the whole of this boat right here, how it's kind of like circular, round, kind of like the bottom of a spoon, and how it doesn't have edges. That's because this is called a displacement hole, and it pushes water away from it in order to be able to plow through things better. If you look at the bottom of a play boat, it has edges and it's kind of sharper and more defined, and that's because when you're kayaking on a wave or a hole or something, you want to be able to control where you're going, and so you need those edges to be able to maneuver yourself and do the tricks that you want to. So kind of talk to you guys about the anatomy of a kayak and what they're made out of and the different kinds of